this right here. Is being poor a choice? I ain't gonna lie, I like this video. Let's go into it. It's Jubilee, unhoused versus millionaires. Let's get it.
I think we need to give help to these encampments, and the more we treat them as criminal and try to clear them away, the worse it's going to be for people.
When we have tourists coming in, it's so embarrassing because I have a lot of people who come to LA and they're like, oh, let's go see the Hollywood Boulevard, and you see people pooping on the streets, tents, and they're like, this is a third world country.
Being poor is a choice. Step forward if you agree with the prompt.
Oh my gosh, I have to restart, bro. Damn, I gotta restart the whole thing. Fuck. Okay. All right, we got a video from Jubilee called unhoused versus millionaires. So basically, they're gonna go back and forth debating certain topics, and it's gonna be perfect for us, people that's watching, and also people on YouTube to converse and have a conversation on certain topics and stuff. If y'all feel in certain stuff, I might say something that's like, y'all might think it's crazy, but I don't know. I like this video in terms of the topic itself. Is being poor a choice? And that's one of the first questions, literally right now, as I look at it. Let's get into it.
Is a choice. Step forward if you agree with the prompt.
Yes, I do agree.
Well, I currently am poor, very, very, very poor. And it might not always be their choice, but I do believe it's a choice. Absolutely.
What do you mean by that? That's not their choice. Elaborate.
Some people wind up in certain situations illegally in certain ways, or some parents don't do certain things that they should, whatever. But I believe it is essentially, if you're not gonna get out and get it, then you're choosing not to.
Valid.
I have a follow-up question for you. Why do you think they choose to be poor?
Because it's hard to build. It's hard to build something, and it's scary to build something, and there's more excuses. There's more excuses than there are solutions.
A lot of times the reason someone's poor is because of they lose here before they lose anywhere else. Because we all have the same amount of time in a day. I know it sounds cliche, but it's how you're using that time. So 100%, if you're spending your day and you're not choosing to be productive in any way, it could even be as simple as getting a job or working, saving some money. I think that's how you stay poor. So especially in the 21st century, when there's thousands of ways to get out.
Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get it with AI.
I mean, I would say if you're under the age of 18, you're a child, but after the age of 18, everything beyond that point it's your choice.
I believe that if you have a mental disability or a physical disability, that obviously you're not in the same playing field. More likely you are going to end up in poverty. But if you don't have any kind of disability, then there really kind of is like no excuse for me, I feel like. And if you work hard, go to school, put yourself out there, commit, I feel like you should be successful.
I think ultimately being poor is a choice, but there's a ton of nuances. If you look at Mexico, for example, it's like 130 million people. It was like 55 million of them can't find like adequate housing. And that's not their fault. So I'd say there are cases where people have no choice in them being poor. 80% of the people that are unhoused is due to trauma. Think of you as, you're doing whatever you're doing in your life. You got a job, you're a plumber, an electrician, whatever, you're making a decent wage. And your wife and kids, they're coming home from a soccer game, semi-truck T-bones them, they die. That would be such significant trauma that could really easily lead to not wanting to work for a little bit. 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So if you can't go back to work, or you don't have a community and a support system in place that can help you get through that and the capital to get through that, it's a pretty fast domino effect from you're missing work, you're missing rent, you're in a shelter, you're on the street, and if it's that type of trauma, the fastest way to get out of it is going to be a substance. The lack of trauma being addressed is the biggest contributor to the unhoused crisis that you guys have.
I kind of disagree with that because I know you said.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of disagree with him. I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's just like a way of putting themselves like in that box, in that category. I feel like I don't know. I feel like in life you shouldn't categorize yourself. You know what I mean? Like I feel like being poor, like to answer the problem, I feel like being poor is a choice. Generally, I feel like people are so stuck in their way if like they want to do stuff, they want to do their own way of getting to the place that they want to get, but then they complain about what they're about not getting to the place that they want to get. If that makes sense, like they have a certain goal, but then I see them outside every Friday, having fun, getting lit, getting turned up, or they going on trips every month, every 2 months, every 3 months. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a certain level of like you having to stop what you want to do in order to achieve what you want to achieve. Yeah, there's gonna be life, like he said. There's gonna be accidents happening. There's gonna be just different stuff. Like life is just life. You know, you're gonna have medical bills, you're gonna have schooling and all this other stuff. That does not stop you from making money, bro. Dead ass. I generally don't believe that. I'm telling you that.
Trauma causes it, but I think trauma is also subjective, right? Like there's like
Yep.
the parable about the two brothers where their dad was an alcoholic, and then one grows up to be an alcoholic, and he blames his dad. You know, the other brother, who he grew up, became successful, didn't touch alcohol. They ask him why, and it's the same reason. The same trauma, but it just affected each one differently. So trauma or things that are out of our control may contribute, but I still don't think it changes the fact that being poor is a choice.
I come from Russia, so in Russia it's a very tough mentality. I grew up in like a small village, and a lot of people could have like a victim mentality, but they don't. They toughen it out, and they just keep going no matter what. So when I came to America, I noticed it's super, super different than it is in Europe, and Eastern Europe especially, because people just here have a lot of like this victim mentality, and a lot of times it's like, it's crazy, but people in Russia don't even talk about mental health, which I don't think is right either. But in Russia, it's like you don't get depressed, you don't have bad days, you're not allowed to have bad days. So I feel like in the United States, we almost over talk about it, almost baby them, and sometimes I'm like, you need to be tougher in life.
That's a fact. I be hating that shit, bro. Like, now I be getting it though, because like even my like, I don't know, I feel like that's why I don't like be friends with a lot of people in life, because I feel like we be coddling people too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people love that they have a problem to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that genuinely love that. Like, I'm not one of them niggas. If you come to me with a problem, I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Like, if it's your fault, I'm gonna be like, it's your fault. You gotta fix X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? And if you come to me 2 weeks from now, a week from now, constantly with the same issue, I'm gonna start just giving you the blind eye. I'm gonna just look at my phone and answer, okay? Dead ass. Because I already know what you're calling me for. Like, it's just like, I just don't have time to waste with people that want to be in their ways, stuck in their ways, and then complain about their ways. Like, that shit get me tight, bro. Either fix the situation or shut the fuck up. Dead ass. Dead ass.
I first want to say that seeing people come up here and say that poverty is a choice is very highly offensive, and I want to let you know that all four of y'all being millionaires, that's I find that deeply insulting for you to say that it was a choice for me to be poor. Now,
you see, this is the victim mentality we talk about. Watch what he's about to say after this. Watch.
One of you brought up the myth that if you go to school and work hard, then you just be successful. I graduated from UCLA despite getting my GED in prison. When I went to LSU to study for my MFA, I went there as a single parent with my daughter to Baton Rouge, and we were homeless there. And working at LSU as a graduate teaching assistant, I was still in poverty. My daughter couldn't access good schools because of racism. She was in a segregated school where she didn't get the same services as the white kids. And it's funny for you to say that you come from Russia, and so we have a victim mentality here. But you can come from Russia to the United States of America and have white privilege that I can't access. I've been arrested for walking through Los Feliz just for the color of my skin. Is that a victim mentality, or am I being victimized? There's a big difference there. So I want to say that all of you should check your privilege at the door. I never chose to be poor. No one from my background has ever chosen to be poor. Neither do any demographic that is living in poverty in this nation. We face discrimination on a daily basis, and we're doing everything in our power to lift ourselves up by our bootstraps, as you tell us to. But continually, you guys get all the benefits, all the resources. We don't have any type of homeless PACs that can go lobby on our behalfs. We don't have any representation, and we don't have any real opportunities.
So you don't have any opportunity.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, it's a victim. Like, bro, that's why I don't know, bro. Like, to me, like, and it's gonna sound harsh, like, but like, if you tell me you had this, you had a kid, and all this other stuff, gang, these are the choices that you made, gang. These other millionaires that you see them talking about it, they didn't make that choice to have a kid. to do X, Y, and Z before they got their shit straight, bro. Dead ass, bro. Like, that's like me. I'm not gonna go and have a kid right now, bro. Cause then I know if I have a kid, my money going straight to my kid, bro. Like it's gonna have to. Like I know I'm gonna have to fend for my kid. But like I'm not gonna complain 5 years later, talk about the system is broken because I can't make X, Y, and Z amount to live. Like nigga, no, bro. I made a mistake. Not a mistake, but I made a choice in life to have a kid. You get what I'm saying? And now I'm stuck with the consequences of my choices. Like the fuck, bro. Like nigga, I don't know, bro. Maybe that's just me.
Opportunities?
Do I have the same opportunity as you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Your words, mine. We don't have.
We don't have representation. We don't have the same opportunity.
No,
as
your
you.
words was.
Yeah.
We don't have.
We don't have the
any
same opportunity as you. We don't have the same opportunity.
So we're changing the wording, which is fine, and I can't even possibly disagree. I'm not in your shoes. I haven't walked in your shoes.
I'll say this. I grew up poor. My mom immigrated from another country. I'm brown. I'm almost as dark as you. You know, I understand where you're coming from, because I do agree that it is harder as a black man to have opportunities, but at the same time, explain all of the black millionaires I know that are close friends of mine that feel the exact same way. And I wish one of them were here, because then he could speak to you. It's harder coming from, I guess, white people. I'm the brownest one, so I feel like I have to speak on their behalf. But we came here, I had a single mom. Dad left when I was like 2 years old. So I understand how it feels to have nothing, but also at the same time, you don't feel like you have any opportunity?
Because you bring up exceptionalism and you try to use yourself and really insulted me by talking about the color of my skin. You're almost as dark as me. Because you try to bring up there's other black millionaires.
But
See what you're doing right now is you're trying to talk about anomalies for my community.
Man, get your sensitive ass out of here, nigga. Stop talking for the rest of us. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. Either Martin Luther King. Who the fuck told you to speak for all of us, nigga? You had a dream, that was your fucking dream, nigga. He put it on all of us. You see what I'm saying, bro? Now here this nigga come with this African attire and shit, but you had enough money to buy that shit. You get what I'm saying? He had enough money to buy this shit, but he couldn't. But nigga can't take the truth.
There's a racial wealth gap that you can't address. You're not an African American, and you bringing up a couple millionaires here and there doesn't change the fact that the majority of all the wealth in this nation is in the hands of white people. African Americans here have not gotten any reparations. Wealth has not been passed down for generations. We had to deal with redlining. We had to deal with Jim Crow. We still to this day. I was the first one in my family to be born with civil rights. My dad was born before the passage of the Civil Rights Act. I don't have civil rights. I've been wrongfully convicted, wrongfully arrested. I started getting arrested at 11 years old. I'm not brown, I'm a black man in America. And I don't relate to your experience or what you're bringing up. Because in my communities that I've lived in the poverty I've lived at the Union Rescue Mission in Skid Row, I've lived in South LA, in the ghettos, where I've lived at, there are no millionaires. The only millionaires are the real estate owners, the slumlords, who are exploiting us. Show us where in our community are these opportunities. Where's the investment?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree that it's going to be harder. I'm not saying it's not going to be as easy as it would be for anyone else. I'm not saying that. But you just said that I chose anomalies, people that are exceptional, exceptionalism. Do you believe you can be exceptional?
I'm not here to represent myself and my exceptionalism. I'm here to represent the unhoused.
I understand.
And when I go to Skid Row,
See, and this is what I'm saying, and this is what makes the rich people different from poor mentality, bro. Answer the fucking question. Do you feel like you're exceptional? That's generally like, bro, like, niggas is crazy, bro.
when I go to Skid Row, the data shows and my life experience shows that most of them did not get to go to UCLA like I did.
The data, bro. Do you feel like you can be? Do you feel like you can be exceptional? It's a yes or no question.
And I'm not answering your question. I represent the unhoused.
Oh my gosh, this nigga is crazy, bro. This nigga is crazy. He don't feel like, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, this shit is sad though. Like, this shit is generally sad. Like, you dead don't see yourself as a, like, who the fuck told you to speak up for the rest of us, nigga? Answer it for yourself, bro. This is your own life. What?
I'm not here to be an anomaly. I'm here to represent the people.
Okay. I was gonna say, here's just one thing. I was gonna say, you brought up the race inequality. I would also like to address the gender inequality. I'm a female. Do you know how, like, it's crazy for me as a female to even have a job in my country? Like, so coming to America, I was at a disadvantage too, you know? I didn't speak any English, zero. I had zero connections, no friends, nothing. So of course I could have played the whole, I'm an immigrant, I don't speak English, I'm a female card, but I didn't, you know? So I think you can really get out of it, and it is tough for everyone, but you know, you can't be stuck in this mindset.
So for you to say poverty is a choice, I'm a responder. If you say poverty is a choice, then you just insulted all the women that are in Skid Row.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy,
went missing
man.
in 2000.
This is fun. Yeah, man, bro. Yeah, this nigga come with statistics and shit, bro. We get it, bro. We get it, bro. Stop crying, though, nigga. Bro, we in 2026 still complaining about shit that happened. I get it, bro. I'm sorry if I'm sounding so harsh, bro. But like dead ass, bro. We are here complaining about stuff that happened 100 years ago, bro. I guess it still affects people. But for me myself, to let that shit hinder me for right now, for me and my family and the rest of my generation, you're bugging. Nigga, I'll be the first nigga to have all my peoples eating, bro. Dead ass. I genuinely feel that way. I 1000% feel that way. And nothing's gonna stop me. I know that. With a passion. I know that with a shadow of a doubt. If you could call each one of my friends, you call my brother right now, you call my mom right now, they know I have that same hunger, bro. I don't let nothing stop me. I don't give a fuck about none of that history shit, nigga. Cause I know it. I know I'm Gucci. I know God got me, bro. Dead ass. So for you to be over here standing up for everybody else, stand up for yourself, nigga. Dead ass. Niggas about to get me tight.
2011 chronically
I wish I was in this room, bro.
Women who are assaulted, some of the most vulnerable women in the city, and you said that their poverty is a choice. They're choosing to be intense, being assaulted,
But a lot of them
and
do
go through
drugs
what they're
too.
going through.
Like a lot of them do drugs. So.
What does that? What do you mean by like the drug part though?
Because I know a lot of people that are on the streets like do drugs, and
Yeah.
I've like luckily, thank God, I've never touched a single drug because even if there's 1% chance you
even
could get
marijuana.
addicted, I just don't want to take that chance because I see how those people live, and I would never want to end up like that.
But that gets to my point, I think, about is poverty a choice? Because the drug abuse, the drug addiction is a big part of that. About 6 years ago, I met this guy, and I was already not doing very well, and he pulled out 2 needles, and my life was changed forever, and I was on the streets. And I think that I get that I made a bad decision by starting drugs in the first place. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, the people I've met on the streets, they're not, you say like we're playing victim. I think that these are some of the toughest people I've ever met, and we're struggling from a significant illness that is beyond our mental control. It's hurtful to hear that poverty is a choice when there's people battling with drug addiction, and that's a significant thing. And drug addiction is not a choice. I think that some people are born with drug addiction. That's genuinely what I believe.
Do you think getting clean is a choice?
I was able to get clean. I have about 4 months sober, and but that doesn't make me any better than people who were still using. I got clean because I was able to get housing temporarily. I was able to get a clear head, and I think people are telling people on the streets, if you want housing, you need to get clean. You need to go to rehab. That's the only way you can get off the streets. But people aren't going to get clean if they can't get housing.
So what's stopping other, I guess, homeless people from doing what you did?
Because they don't have the same opportunities I did. I knew somebody very high up in the Midnight Mission, and she was able to get me into the cafeteria to just spend the night, and I was able to get a clear head. Not everybody has that opportunity.
I was actually going to touch on something that Kate said. Like Kate, you agreed that being poor is a choice, but then you also brought up like disability, kind of putting on a different playing field. For me personally, I have autism, and it's made it difficult for me to maintain employment, kind of like because social differences and like sensory difficulties and like with time management. Like throughout my whole life, I actually dropped out of high school 3 different times. I did end up graduating, but those same challenges that affected me in childhood, like I'm an adult now, but you don't grow out of that. And I get by mostly with like gig work and like odd jobs, but at the end of the day, maintaining stable employment is something that I want to do. And actually, studies show generally like 40 to 50% of homeless people actually are employed. So I think there is this big misconception that they're all like, you know, on the streets, like just doing drugs and they don't want to get better. And even the ones who aren't or can't still, I feel like deserve compassion because sometimes there's a lot of nuance to it.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Congratulations on that graduation.
Oh, thank you. It was so hard.
So proud of you for keep
Thanks.
going. Like that's amazing. Exactly. Like you have like a mental disability, which does set you back. You know, it is so much harder for you, you know, than an average person with a clear head. It is. But I'm so proud of that. You keep going. That you're not giving up. You're amazing. Just
thank you.
bow
I
down to you.
appreciate that.
So do you guys think it's a choice for us to be poor?
Well, it depends. Like, do you guys have a mental disability or a physical disability? Like, I feel like.
Yes.
I think
I'm no hard feelings.
Yeah,
just
I think
curious.
with the exception maybe I'm not well versed on that, so I don't want to speak on your position specifically, but for everyone else, I would say yes.
So
And I mean,
working
as
full-time-
That's a
respectfully
fact.
as possible. Yeah,
So
like,
working full time, going to school, being a single parent with sole custody and placement of my daughter, doing everything right that I'm supposed to do. I'm choosing to be poor by working full time, by going to school,
no,
by
bro,
taking care of my child.
that's a beautiful
Because the
thing.
thing is, you having a
'Cause I'm
daughter,
poor.
you having a
That's a beautiful
daughter,
thing.
choice. That was your choice, was it not?
I didn't ask you about.
Did you ejaculate
don't
inside
speak
your
on my daughter,
girlfriend?
bro. Don't speak on my daughter. I asked
You having a daughter?
Bro,
Hey,
don't speak on my daughter, bro. I asked you a
I'm
question.
asking you a
No,
question.
can I ask you a
Is
question?
having
Am I
a daughter a
choosing to be
choice?
Oh
poor?
my, this nigga the most sensitive nigga I know on planet Earth, nigga. Oh my gosh, bro. Bro, nobody's speaking on your daughter, gang. We just saying, is it a choice for you to have a kid, bro? That's what a lot of people in this generation, they don't understand, bro. They just popping kids left and right, bro. That ass.
Or no, by working full time.
So you want me to answer a yes or no question, but you want to answer a yes or no question?
Is working full time choosing to be poor? Just
Is
answer the
having a
question.
child a choice?
Is working full time choosing to be poor? Why you can't answer the question?
Yes.
First of all,
Yes, here's why.
first
I have a daughter too, so I
love
know where you're
that
coming
you work
from.
full time.
I think right now you're trading your time for too little money. You gotta find the skill that'll allow you to trade your time for more money. Because you're working full time, you're grinding it out because you gotta make ends meet, right? Regardless, I know you seem like that type of person. I could hear the passion in your voice. You need to find a way to trade your time for more money, so that when you work full time, it gives you more leeway, more freedom, better life.
I agree.
So you see it as choosing to be poor.
For you, 100%.
Oh my
For her,
gosh.
no. I don't know if like maybe you've battled with drugs. Maybe it's given you like a mental, maybe some kind of mental setback too. Because I know how hard it is to be sober. So
I just like, if you think drug addiction, if you look at anybody on the streets right now, like screaming, talking to themselves, that was me. And it's just beyond me thinking that you believe, or some people believe, that they're choosing that.
Capitalism creates
Nigga,
homelessness.
nobody told you to pick up the needle, gang. Bro, I get it, bro. I'm being sympathetic. But gang, it's your choice, bro. It was your choice, just like the rest of them. You can't be mad at the millionaires that haven't chose that life, and they chose a clean life or a healthier life against y'all niggas. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it generally don't make no sense, gang. It don't. It don't. Capitalism creates homelessness.
Yeah, so my perspective is, whether you're looking at laissez-faire capitalism,
I think I
you're
agree with
looking
this.
at the industrialists and those who were, ultra rich, that created a system where the majority of the people are living in poverty, and many of those people do not have homes. It's an exploitative system. And those who have access to the capital, usually passed down as wealth through generations, wealth transfers from grandfathers, fathers to grandchildren, children, and those of us who are locked out of that capital are the exploited labor pool. So being homeless, they subsidize our labor in Los Angeles. They'll even go to the point where you will get a subsidized job where the employer gets to use your labor for free. They don't have to pay you a penny. I've worked many subsidized jobs. Capitalism is the system that does this. Socialism, systems where we all work together. Communism, systems where we all get an opportunity. We're working together, egalitarian, or those who have are actually helping to take care of those who don't. They don't create homelessness. They actually make sure to prevent homelessness. So capitalism.
All right. So let me ask you this question. Why don't you move over there? Why don't you take your black ass over there to those capitalists? I mean, to those other societies, gang. Take your ass over there. Since you think that it makes it more equal and fair for you, why don't you move over to those countries that help you to go do that?
Is an insidious system that keeps many of us locked out of wealth, that keeps many of us in homeless shelters and dying on the streets homeless.
You're really well educated on all this stuff. The way I see it, I guess, in the capitalist system, there's not really much of an incentive to help unhoused people. In fact, I feel like there's an incentive to kind of push the unhoused people down, push them away. And as someone on the streets who was recently on the streets, I could feel that pressure. Like I felt it whenever I walked into a store, and then I felt like I wasn't wanted. Security would meet me, people would go away, or people moved away from me at the bus, or seeing a bus stop. You know how there's that rod in the middle of the bus stop? And you know that the city deliberately put that little rod there to prevent somebody from being able to lay down because they don't want us there. And I think a capitalist system does incentivize that. And I don't know the solution. I'm not gonna, I don't know much about socialism versus capitalism and all that, but I just know our current economic system is devaluing the interconnectedness of humanity.
Exactly. And economists and others can speak of capitalism as if these systems are in a vacuum, but in reality, these systems are tied into our reality as lived human beings. So we have to deal with white supremacy in our capitalist system. 40% of the homeless here in Los Angeles are African American, and there are historical causes and reasons for that. So while someone who was white or who was brown, who was a newly arrived immigrant can show up and say, hey, those black people, they just don't want to work hard enough. They're lazy. It's their culture. All of these excuses and myths that they want to make up. There's actually historical reasons for why our communities were destroyed, like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, for why highways were built through our communities, for why you have Nuri Martinez and others on the hot mic in the city council saying that they don't like the blacks, redlining, and all the exploitation that we experience, all of what we still deal with on a daily basis. This is all part of capitalism. And
Hold up. Jeez, bro, this nigga don't got a period, bro. Dead ass. I hear what he's saying though. Like, I do hear what he's saying. Like, he bringing up some good points. I hold you. On this one, he
mistreating
is.
us. Like you said, they won't even just let us lay on a bus stop. They don't even look at us as human beings. That is an insidious system.
I was gonna say, Russia actually also had slavery. Did you know that? They enslaved their own people too, and they killed millions of their own. But no one ever, talks about that. They worked on the fields, 16-hour days. It was the same thing. But again, that happened like 100 years ago. Slavery in the United States, of course, it's a huge part, but that happened like 300 years ago. That was their life, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to do that. I didn't use that to come in here and say, oh, I have a tough life too. It's a man's world out here. I just should give up,
No, I don't know. I don't know what you mean. See, my situation is nothing like yours. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, this nigga's the definition of a fucking victim, gang. Oh my jeez, if I slap the dog shit out you, nigga, you will bring that up 50 years from now, gang. I swear to God, like this
You were
shit
able to come over
crazy,
here,
bro.
like you said, as an immigrant and access white privilege that was put into place for you to access. Meanwhile, like I
She
said,
never said that. She yo, bro, she never said that though.
My father was born before the passage of the Civil Rights Act, born without civil rights, drank from segregated drinking fountains. My grandmother was born a sharecropper and escaped out of that situation. And the ending of slavery is not suddenly a glorious moment for African Americans like you're trying to paint it to be. It ended 100 years ago. No, we still deal with the issues today. So I don't know what you're talking about. I dealt with racism in my own life. I walk down Los Feliz, I get arrested for the color of my skin, stopped, detained, questioned, profiled, even held in jail without being convicted of a crime. I have no clue what you're talking about.
Okay.
You speaking on Africans and African Americans and our experience and trying to compare it to Russians, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So I'm also black. I've gone through the same type of racism, the same N-words, the same small hick towns, all this stuff the same. And I never look at it. I never think about it like that. It's like, why does everyone have to bring up something that held someone else back? It's always, oh man, they did this to the blacks, or the blacks did this, or the Mexicans did this, or what about the good things? What about hey, did you see that dunk? Did you see that garb?
Yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of negativity around capitalism all the time, and I totally understand it. And if you look at the system that we have in place right now, and you blame, government bureaucrats for being in bed with the billionaires and the business owners and all that kind of stuff, and you think, oh, that's a big problem, which I hear a lot from people. That's not capitalism. That's cronyism. That's where business interest and government interest are inextricably linked. Capitalism just means private ownership over the means of production. As we were standing back there, you're talking about socialism and communism. I mean, that's a slippery slope to go down. You would know.
Yeah.
I come from a country that's more socialist leaning. We do pay a bit higher taxes, but we have universal health care. Right? And you look at, the happiness index of Denmark, you look at Norway, you look at Finland. These are places that have a mix of capitalism and socialism. I'm not saying pro-socialism in any way, shape, or form. That said, it does have its benefits. The blame that so many people put toward capitalism, I think, is misplaced. Capitalism, I personally think, is an absolutely beautiful, amazing, incredible system, and it's not even close to perfect because It's a system. Socialism is a system. Communism is a system, and albeit a fucking horrible one. And human beings, and human behavior, and human nature is very rarely factored into these systems. That's what drives these systems. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I would agree. If we had a system of capitalism and white supremacy wasn't involved because it wasn't imposed upon us, maybe we would have a different history. But the reality isn't like that. The reality is that this
Yeah, this nigga's the most funniest nigga in the world, bro. You would think you going 2 foot forward with this nigga, but then y'all going 10 steps backwards.
system of capitalism that we're under, it was involved in slavery. So like you said, it is about the human interest.
No, nigga, you not funny, nigga. Talking about smoking, bro. Oh, you're not funny, nigga.
And that comes into play, not just what's on paper. Like he said, when we're out here in LA and we're homeless, we have nowhere to go. We can't even lay on a bus stop. Where are we supposed to go? It's a crime for us to even exist in a society. So where are we supposed to exist at? I'm not understanding. Where does the system want us to go? The Olympics are coming up.
I think the only thing you're not
Alright,
understanding
you
is the
funny.
prompt, which was about capitalism.
Right, that's capitalism.
And I think if the
prompt.
prompt, I think if the prompt was pink puppy dogs, we'd end up at race, like within one
I was
step.
gonna
So
say,
so
I'm
you
getting.
can take race out of it because
Yeah,
you
can we
don't
take
deal with
race
the
out of
negative
it?
aspects of race. You're not oppressed due to the color of your skin. So
can
you
we
can
take-
take race out of capitalism. It's a part of capitalism. Who started
When?
capitalism? Who started the system?
Well, I'll say this.
I can tell you, it wasn't a black man
Today?
in Africa.
The United States is not the only country that has capitalism.
Right, I said who started capitalism. Do you know? Was it a black man in Africa?
It went from feudalism to mercantilism to capitalism, and it was like a naturally evolving
Did
structure.
it naturally evolve in Africa?
It's a flawed system. No system is perfect. I agree. Like it may create some homelessness. It might make some people's lives harder.
Okay,
but I think
okay.
It promotes being great.
I don't know why I expected you to be like, nah, tomorrow.
It promotes you to be good. America is the wealthiest country in the world because of capitalism. The most capitalistic country, wealthiest country in the world. In fact, capitalism has driven prices of food so low, more people die of obesity here than starvation, right? There are 1,600 new millionaires created every single day. Me personally, I employ 20 people. They take care of their families. They live good lives, right? So imagine, I'm not even that rich. Imagine a billionaire. They're hiring tens of thousands, 20s of thousands of people. So the more businesses you have, the more people that are taking advantage of capitalism, it's not just taking care of them. Like, yeah, I'm paid well, but also there's people that work for me that also have good lives because of it. So I think capitalism creates growth and it creates prosperity across the board. And it's not perfect, but it's the best we got.
Homeless encampments can be dangerous and should be cleared.
So I do security and live in Skid Row. So not only do I usually put someone in a headlock, I usually see them later on that day. Not only that, everyone, and because I do security, everyone has a knife or it's because it's for their protection. But it gets insane when you get people who are super high, super drunk, super off their square, it gets really weird.
I think Jack mentioned it earlier. He said the reason he was able to get clean is because he found somewhere to stay. He was on Skid Row, got off Skid Row, found somewhere to stay where he could shower, where he can get clean. And I think when you're there, you become a product of your environment. So like you said, if you're there and everyone's just high or they're drunk or they have a knife or they're dangerous or they're
I actually have
volatile,
no clue.
you're gonna absorb that. You're gonna like assimilate to that. So I think it is a little bit dangerous.
Well, I was gonna say, I grew up in Europe, so growing up, I was never worried about just going outside. I'm so used to going for like walks in like middle of the night and midnight. Coming to LA was a huge shock because I live in West Hollywood, which is a pretty okay area, but still, like, you cannot go outside past dark. And I was walking one time down the street, and it's, again, in West Hollywood, nothing crazy, daylight. This guy comes out of this tent, pulls out a knife and starts like chasing me. You never know what to expect those people because you don't know what they're on. So that's why they're dangerous, and that's why I wish the city of LA would provide a better solution, because in other countries it's not like that, and other cities it's not like that, in other states in America it's not like that. So I don't understand why LA is just so bad.
Yeah, so from my perspective, you know, I've worked in city government, specifically addressing the issue of homelessness. I've served in neighborhood councils, and looking at the data, there's not enough funds.
I ain't gonna lie,
for all of
I
us.
can tell what's wrong with this nigga. This nigga is trying to make the biggest. This nigga think he Hillary Clinton. I mean, not. Oh my gosh, say Hillary Clinton. This guy think he Harriet Tubman, bro. That's what it is, bro. You too focused on speaking for everybody else. That's your life. You not making no bread by your own self, bro. Go up, like, get your own money, bro. Get your own means of living, and then maybe you wouldn't have to be over here being the spokesperson for the town. Dead ass. He wants kitty. That's what it is. Nah, bro. He does like. That's what I'm telling. That's what I'm saying. He don't have time to be getting no kitty, bro. He don't have no time to be getting kitty, bro. The way that he's talking,
To be
he need to
housed.
go back to. I don't know, bro. He got to go back to school. He got to do something, man.
There's not enough funds from the government that all of us can have a Section 8 voucher and have a place to live where we can have a roof over our heads. So since there's not enough funds for that, and there's not even enough emergency shelter, if you have given us no alternative, then how can they criminalize encampments? That's us doing the only thing that we can do to survive.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm about to report my food, bro, because this shit is so burnt. I don't even like the taste of this.
In a common space where we can all live, we can all set up what we need, and we can all survive. To pathologize us and make myths about us that we're in there doing drugs and drinking and all this stuff is going on. I've seen lots of homeless encampments where everyone is following the law, waking up, getting their bike, going to work, coming back, and it's just a place for law-abiding American citizens, many of them veterans who have served this country, to have a place to live because the cities, the states, and the federal government won't even give us a roof over our heads. So I absolutely disagree.
I've never seen that encampment. And I've seen a lot of encampments. I've never seen that encampment specifically where I have seen grown-ups smoking crystal meth on the property of the police station every single day since I got here. I do not know where these law-abiding, veteran, church-organized encampments are. I just haven't seen them. These are disgusting grown-up people pooping on the floor. It is insanity.
Why don't you give us porta potties? Like I'm just tired of people talking.
Porta potties. They are full of poop. They are destroyed.
Because they're not
down.
maintained. They're not like homeless. Can I talk?
Absolutely.
Homeless encampments aren't given. They're treated as criminal, and we have to clear them away. And as a result, they're not getting those things to put dirty needles in. So there's needles all over the floor. They're not getting porta potties, so there's shit on the floor. And then they're like, oh look, there's shit on needles on the floor. We have to clear them out. But it's like we're not getting the support we need. And I think it's a huge misconception that the unhoused are this incredibly dangerous group. Like I lived on Skid Row and I didn't feel unsafe on Skid Row. I just felt sad there.
There was a purpose for you. Because guess what? And I'm gonna be honest, because I was there and we wanted people like you. You are the reason there is a Skid Row. Someone has to buy these drugs. Someone has to buy these drugs on Skid Row. So you're gonna be allowed. You're gonna be allowed. But when I come through and they notice that I'm not buying drugs, people check me and try to check me every day, but I don't go for that. I'm telling you right now, there's refresh. You can do laundry. There's open bathrooms all night, 24/7. There's places for clean needles. Fourth and Town, you can get them every single day of your life if you want. Now you can make the excuse if they don't exist, this doesn't exist. Those places are open and they're around and there's many of them and they're close.
But people get high and they get confused,
Well,
and and that's the truth. And they're not given the support or the resources. They're not saying like, hey, come here.
Or the veterans.
And I just think the question is like, are these encampments like I was my worst off when I was all alone. When I was in an encampment, I felt like protected. I felt like I had friends. I felt like I had connection, and I was able to bring my drug use down a little bit. When the encampment I stayed at closed, I was all alone, and I got lost, and I got confused. And I know it's my fault. I know I decided to use drugs, but these drugs are really powerful.
Yeah, my shit was good. I ain't gonna lie. It was good. I just wanted to get on stream though, really, and like just chill for a little bit. But my shit was good. I ain't gonna hold you. It was very good. You did anything specific? I mean, you don't celebrate this shit, but tomorrow, I'm wondering if I should bring my bike tomorrow. I was gonna ride my bike today, but I was too tired from yesterday, bro. After editing and all that other shit, man.
And people underestimate what they do to people's brains. That's all I'm trying to say.
I just complained about my stuff.
And I think we need to give help to these encampments, and the more we treat them as criminal and try to clear them away, the worse it's going to be for people.
I agree
Lord,
that
jeez, man.
I'm not a big fan of free handouts. I do believe that you should have basic needs, such as shelter, running water, maybe a restroom, but I think they should be cleared because it's not aesthetically pleasing to
Where are you going to put them?
It's
Tell me, let's say you got 1,000 people.
I don't think there should be homeless people in the first place. I think we should build
Okay,
mental.
but there is. I'll just finish
yeah,
really
yeah.
quick.
Can't just
There
not
are
exist.
a ton of homeless people. There's like what 775,000 people that experienced homelessness last year, I think is the stat, right? Let's say there's 1,000 in one encampment, and the cops come along and go, okay, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
Where do they go?
Well, I think if they have a mental, because
Yeah.
Bregan closed down a lot of mental hospitals, so I think the United States ideally should build a lot of mental health institutions, and the people that do have mental health issues, they should go there and get all the professional help, because there is help out there.
Canada.
It's
But you know, a lot of
Canada.
times when we have tourists coming in, it's so embarrassing, because I have a lot of people who come to LA and they're like, oh, let's go see the Hollywood Boulevard, and you see people pooping on the streets, tents, and they're like, this is a third world country. Tourists are gonna stop coming, and that's money. That's money that LA is losing. Business is gonna stop coming. A lot of companies are leaving LA.
the disconnection here is they should be cleared. Like, just tangibly take a moment and think about that for a second. Think about a massive homeless encampment. Where the fuck are they gonna go? They should be cleared is like, I'm human, they're not human, right? It's an egregious thing, to be honest with you, to come out and to agree to.
Well, I could do the same exact thing, right? Why don't I just grab a tent and like pitch it in someone's, go to Beverly Hills and pitch a tent? Like, you don't do that. You just don't do that. You just can't go pick a place and like be like, oh, I like this real estate. It's gonna be mine. You don't do that. You pay for each inch in LA. Like, it's not safe for me as a girl living in LA, because as a girl, when those guys they're out, I go for a walk. It doesn't matter what time of the day now. When they start chasing after me with a knife, that is scary. I don't think you've been in that situation, but for me as a girl,
I've 100% been chased with a knife. I've had people on our trips be threatened with abduction at gunpoint. I've seen it. I've been in a lot of different communities,
Yeah.
and I genuinely think it's because of that work that they're fucking human beings, you know. And you're talking about the very small minority, and I totally empathize with your situation of
I
someone
don't think so,
chasing you
'cause
with a knife. That said, you're saying they're on drugs, they're scary, all that stuff. That's very like. Again, dehumanizing of a population is very, very much human. And my one point here is, where do they go?
Also, the big benefit of the encampments is that when I lived at the Poinsettia Park encampment,
all these
resource
niggas yap,
trucks would
bro.
come by and they would be able to pass out clean needles, and they were able to get.
Oh, what, bro? Who is passing out clean needles? You're supposed to be trying to get healthy. See, that's what I'm saying. This is why you can't believe these niggas, bro. Like, y'all, that's the problem with these two niggas. Like, he want assistance from the government, but don't know that it takes money to get that money that you want to save your community or whatever the fuck you got going on, Martin Luther King. And then this nigga over here, he's like, it's not fair. It's other people that are taking drugs. Niggas, then stop taking the drugs, bro. You just said that you got clean needles, bro. Hold up. I don't let this nigga finish the sentence. But, nigga, stop victimizing yourselves, nigga.
Of the encampments is that when I lived at the Poinsettia Park encampment, and resource trucks would come by and they would be able to pass out clean needles, and they were able to get a majority of that encampment into longer term housing because we were all consolidated together. If there are no encampments, we're all scattered everywhere and the help isn't as easily accessible.
yeah, but nobody should be in a tent in the United States. Like, no, because if United States, if LA is too expensive, which rent is crazy expensive here, right? Go somewhere else. Like,
Can they sleep on your floor?
what is it?
Can they sleep on your floor?
No, I'm saying go. No, I'm saying go to a different state that's more affordable, like West Virginia. I just bought a house in West Virginia. The house is like 25.
Can they go sleep at the house?
25,000. It's so cheap. Like, LA is the second most expensive city in the United States. People that live here pay a lot of taxes, so they would want to have a nice environment. So if it's too expensive to live here, like literally in any other states, New Mexico is cheap. You know, like.
If you're homeless, if someone's homeless, you think they can afford to relocate to another state or
they
city?
provide now with the.
Yes?
They can provide them with the bus tickets, with like.
And then when they get there, they'll have a home?
Go reconnect with like a family member that perhaps lives in a different state, or perhaps a friend. They should have made at least one friend in a lifetime that could, in another state.
That's
you
your
know?
privilege talking. We don't have family members to go live at their house. We don't have. That's the whole point.
And also, like you said, LA is so populated. It is really expensive, but also you have to consider the higher the population, the more resources there are. for homeless people. Like if I go to Bump, West Virginia, am I gonna find a food bank? Probably not. In some town with like, 5,000 people.
I think you will.
Maybe, yeah, maybe one that only is open on Sundays, and maybe I'm working that day, or like there's not like 20, like at any time in downtown LA, I know that I'm near 20 food banks. There's at least 5 places near me that I can wash my laundry at if I have a job interview. These resources, the higher population you have, the more access you have to them. So it's not like, oh, why don't we just ship them somewhere cheaper?
But I think if I can't afford a lifestyle, like for example, I can't probably afford Monaco. Monaco is the most expensive country in the world. I'm not gonna go and like try to set up a tent there. There probably is resources there to help me, but I'm not gonna move to the most expensive place in the world knowing that I can't afford it and knowing that I'm gonna be homeless there. That's not the
You're gentrifying us and
quality
telling
of
us that
life.
if you can come in, displace us, and we should go somewhere else.
Displace who?
Yeah, you are gentrifying us. You said that you can come to Los Angeles because you're wealthy, because you have money. You said you came from Russia, you have money, you bought a house in Virginia. Hold on. You bought a house in Virginia, so you can come to LA, you can gentrify, you can displace people. Historically, a lot of the people who are homeless here in Los Angeles are natives of Los Angeles, many of them black, many of them gentrified by people just like you who arrived, displaced them, priced them out of their own neighborhoods, then changed the way that neighborhood looks, and suddenly that neighborhood that wasn't invested into for decades while black people were living there through benign neglect is suddenly invested into when you moved there, and they should just go to Virginia.
I think we should take race out of it, please.
But wait.
Do we all agree that homeless encampments can be dangerous?
They're disgusting.
Yes.
They smell
Yeah.
dangerous.
You're a non-answer.
So my thing is this:
Can they be
housed
dangerous?
people can be dangerous. Someone's house can be dangerous. Their
100%.
children getting abused inside of
agree.
houses.
So do we agree that housed people can be dangerous? Yeah.
So if y'all can agree that housed people can be dangerous, I'll agree that unhoused people can also be
homeless
dangerous.
encampments
I
can
think
be
the
dangerous.
argument-
And the second part to the prompt is that they should be cleared, and that's the human part of it. Picture it being cleared. So now picture it. How do they clear it? What do they
Honestly,
use to
that
clear it?
actually happened in my neighborhood. So I was off of Sunset and La Brea. Everything was cleared out, and then they put these like planters with like cactuses or something like that to keep people from camping in that area. And I thought, wow, that's crazy. And it only lasted about a week, and then it went back. But I wonder where everyone went, because as a resident of Los Angeles, I'm just like, man, it'd be nice if everyone was pushed to a certain section, not like cleared, like dispersed you're on your own. It's better that everyone's housed together, in my opinion. Kind of like when you guys were talking about, like you're more of in a community. I mean, I can be completely ignorant on that topic, but just from what I was seeing there, I'm like, oh man, I wonder where everyone went.
The system is rigged to keep the rich rich and the poor poor.
I believe it is. And I believe it's because that's what you do when you're winning. You make sure you stay winning. And that's it. That's it.
It is rigged in a way. Good.
You know what's crazy though? Like, I do believe it though. The system is rigged to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. But it's so crazy though. Every millionaire or every successful person I know, they said if somebody was to strip everything from them and they have nothing, but all they had was the mindset and the tools that they had that brought them up to that point, that they would be able to start over and make that money back. Like, they have no doubt in the world. Like, so I don't know. Like, I believe that, but like, I feel like it's just a mentality thing, gang.
Example, 2008. Do you guys remember what happened in 2008? Global financial crisis.
Oh, okay.
Shit hit the fan. Banks were failing, but not all the banks failed. The big banks didn't fail. Why did they not fail? Who bailed them out?
JP Morgan.
You did, you did, I did. We bailed them out. The taxpayer bailed them out. This is cronyism. I believe in free market capitalism. I believe those banks should have crumbled, failed, and we should have innovated on top. We should have created something way better. So in that way, it is rigged, but it's not rigged enough to keep everybody down. I don't believe that for a second. I believe capitalism provides amazing opportunity for people. Whoever creates the most value for the market reaps the most value from the market. I 100% believe
AC's
that
not doing
literally all
nothing,
four of you
bro.
could be extraordinarily wealthy, while the system is rigged in the rich's favor at the same time.
Yeah, so Donald Trump's big ugly bill just passed, and within his bill, they're estimated that millions of Americans are going to die because of lack of access to healthcare in the future. And for some reason, the billionaires get tax cuts, the millionaires get all these benefits, and those of us in poverty, we get the shaft. as always, different programs like AmeriCorps, Job Corps, all these programs are disappearing because now it's an attack on DEI. Now they don't want to see anyone who's getting these opportunities continue to get these opportunities. So yeah, the system is definitely rigged to continue to see us failing, to keep us as a permanent underclass, serving the needs and the wants of those in power, and those in power to continue getting richer while we continue to die on the wayside.
I think.
Oh my gosh, bro. Nigga said die on the waistline. What? YouTube short has to be 3 minutes. Oh yeah. Prison Break, that's a blessing game. I remember when YouTube shorts, it was only 60 seconds. That shit was only 60 seconds, bro. You had to cram everything in 60 seconds.
It boils down to the definition, because he was saying rigged, right? Rigged would imply that you can't win. Like, you know the shell game? They go on the streets, they go like this, they put a little nut under the thing, they move it. That's rigged, because you can't win no matter what, they're gonna take your money. As a black male, it might be harder to get rich. As a woman, it's harder to get rich, right? As a white man, it might be easier, but it doesn't mean that a black male or a woman can't get rich.
I was gonna actually mention, I studied sociology in school, so it was actually really depressing when we got to the topic of wealth inequality, because they said statistically, whatever class you're born in, you're actually gonna end up at, if not even go lower, which is crazy, because coming out of college, I was so optimistic, and I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna become so wealthy. A lot of times, that's the idea of like American dream is dead, but I was gonna say, well, a lot of it, I think, comes down to personal choices, and I've noticed you mentioned a lot of times, like, oh, but the circle that we have a big advantage. Again, I came here from like a country that I didn't even speak the language. I came here when I moved here from Florida. I didn't know a single person. So a lot of it really boils down to my.
That nigga got a documentary, nigga. If you don't post a real video, I think it's at 5 minutes. Yo, post the video, man.
Personality. I have to present myself in a way that people wouldn't want to hire me. It has nothing to do, like, for me, I didn't know you were African American. I don't care. I thought you were Indian, honestly, and I don't care if you're Indian, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're Mexican. To me, it's like, if you're a good person, like, if you're a fun person, hey, let's hang out, hey, let's start a business together. It never boils down to a race to me, you know? Your energy has so much to do with it, your vibration, like, I think you just gotta.
Once again, I think you're speaking from a position of privilege.
Oh my fucking gosh, man. Yo, this nigga never gonna make it nowhere, bro, if you just think this way, bro. I never understood this nigga. It's crazy because I agree with the woman right there. Like, it's your vibrate, it's the type of energy you bring, bro. If you think that oh yeah, nah, he looking down on me. Nigga, of course a nigga gonna look down on you because you look down on your own self. What the fuck? Like, it's generally true, bro. Like, oh my gosh, this nigga, bro. You could have took that and been like, now I can make a business partner. You are sitting in front of 4 millionaires. Do you understand that, bro? Like, you're sitting in front of 4 millionaires that could probably change your life off these conversations. Off of them sympathizing with what you're saying, but the whole time you're being so arrogant that they wouldn't even want to work with you, even if they had a job opportunity or like a business proposal to work with you, because you over here is so ignorant that you can't even hear what they saying, gang.
So the statistics show that an African American male with a college degree, with no felony record whatsoever, has the same chance of getting a call back, the same chance of getting an interview from a white man who has a felony record. What are we talking about here? We're not going off of people are just treating us the same based on our energy and our vibe and what I'm giving off of. People are treating us different based upon our race, whether you like it or not.
You took the race out of this whole segment.
Well, then we're talking about a system that's rigged. This system is rigged in your favor, not in my favor.
I'm a female. Statistically, you should be my boss. If you were born in this country, you have such a big advantage over me.
Who benefited the most from DEI programs?
What DEI
White women.
programs?
DEI programs in America, the majority
Oh
of.
my gosh, this nigga, bro. I didn't even hear what she's saying, bro. You're a man. She's a woman. You are supposed to be her boss, nigga. Like, it doesn't matter the race. Like, they had, bro. Oh my gosh, I get it, bro. But like, this nigga just, I don't know. He like to hear himself talk, I can tell.
All DEI programs in America, who benefited from those programs? Which minority got to get those benefits? White women. You don't know the history of the country that you're living in?
No. Because okay, when was this DEI program?
These are programs that have existed in the United States of America for decades.
When was it created?
Donald Trump's administration is trying to get rid of them because the Americans have perceived that these programs actually benefited me, black men. If they knew that those programs mostly helped white women, you think they would have got rid of those programs? Can we be honest and have a real discussion? Or are we just gonna have a privileged discussion where it's just vibes, girl, and when I go out there, you know, everything is cool. If he could just vibe better with us, he would have a good time too.
Yes, because look, when it comes to hiring, at the end of the day, for me, I don't care if the person's white, I don't care if it's black, Asian, I really
the cops don't care either?
I'm not a cop.
Right. So the system is rigged. We're not saying you're rigged. We're not saying that we're not saying that befriending you is rigged based on all these things. The system is rigged to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. That's a reality. I was born into poverty. I lived my entire life in poverty, and I know that I've been busting my ass since day one. I've been busting it was a real victim mentality of busting my ass since day one, and they stopped busting my ass. And as a matter of fact, while I'm working full time, I'm still volunteering. I take my time out of my schedule to volunteer even when I'm homeless. I can be in a homeless shelter and still, it's such a victim mentality to help others that don't have what I have, to make sure that I even help those who have more than me. Such a victim mentality.
I hear a lot of people point out that I think you maybe exchange your time for a little bit too little money, because that is a choice that you make, you know?
That's a fact.
I think you could get a better job than whatever you're getting paid, you know? I think you should be able to afford rent, because you're a smart guy. I work a lot of hours. Sometimes I work like 16, 18 hours a day. I think you could work that too, you know, and I think if you work that just as much, you could make amazing money. You could move up in the world.
The sole placement and sole custody of a child. I'm going to work 16 to 18 hours a day. Where's my child going to be at for those 16 to 18 hours?
Well, again, you're having a child, that was your choice. That was not
But you just created a false hypothetical situation where I'm going to do something that's not going to act. I'm not living in an imaginary world. I'm living in a real world. I'm a single father. I'm an African-American dad. I live in Los Angeles, California. I live in the United States of America. This system here is rigged to keep the rich rich and the poor poor.
If it's too expensive in LA, live somewhere else.
I've lived all over the United States of America. And the reality is that someone like me, the data is showing, is not getting paid a fair wage.
That's already starting. I think all this racism dying off. If anything, white people are afraid to be white now. So all this is dying off, and nobody owns slaves no more. And you know what I'm saying? But come on.
You're saying that racism is dying off and all this type of stuff. The reality is right now we're dealing with a situation where far-right extremism is more of a danger today than it's ever been. Where the president is inciting fascism and inciting racism in his speeches, in his policies, in the fact that he's against our own Constitution. How is the system not rigged in favor of the rich when we have a billionaire president with an administration full of billionaires? The Department of Education head right now is Linda McMahon. The only reason these people are getting into positions is not based on their qualifications, not based on what their education is based on the fact of how much money they have. The entire system is fully rigged in the favor of those who are ultra rich and against those who are poor.
So, you know, as far as is the system rigged or not, I think people can argue to the end, back and forth, whether it is or it isn't. At the same time, I just want to say, who cares?
That is Camaro in the flesh.
Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's rigged. Okay, you have it harder. Okay. My dad
I would
told
love
me
to
this when
see
I was
him on
younger.
a show like this.
He's like, you're gonna have it harder, and who gives a shit? He's like, you got to work hard anyways. At the end of the day, it doesn't change the solution, which, you know, the activity and your habits that take you to become successful or keep you out of poverty, it's going to be the same. And it's crazy, bro, because you're so educated on a lot of these topics. And it's like, man, if I could take my philosophies and just put it in your body, I'd be a millionaire in a year. So it really comes down to that. You have so much energy, so much intelligence, and it's like, man, it's like if I can just channel that energy into this different direction, bite some different philosophies, and just be willing to say, yeah, you know what, maybe I am wrong. Maybe the way I've been living, there's got to be something wrong because look at where I'm at now. I'm not happy with. And if that's the answer, that I'm not happy, then change must happen. You know, and you got to be open to change.
Yeah, I'm humble. I'm open-minded. I say this: everyone on this side wants to be where y'all at right now, and no one on y'all side wants to be where we're at right now, and that's just the reality.
Wealthy people.
All right, man. What the fuck are we talking about here? Of course, nigga. If I'm a millionaire, I don't want to be in the situation you are in, gang. Like, bro, like, let's generally be honest here. You didn't even have to add that sentence in there. Like, oh, duh. Like, what?
People have
Wealthy people have a duty to fix homelessness.
a duty to fix homelessness.
I don't believe that. I ain't gonna lie. Yo, Morgeos. Yo. What's good, bro? Where you been at, nigga?
I think the more money you make, the more responsibility you bear. right? And the more responsibility you have, the more you want to help other people, bring them up, educate them, help monetarily.
You know what?
Whether you fix it through money.
All right. Hey, calm down, bro. You see, bro, now I'm gonna sound like that nigga. Leave my daughter out of it. Leave my daughter out of it. Enjoying the earth as you should, bro. As you should. You don't know how much longer we have, bro, on this earth. So enjoy every last second and enjoy every last minute on this place. I ain't gonna lie. That ass. I think I might just parachute off my roof. Just for the fuck of it, bro. Like, just for the fuck of it, bro. Like, nigga, we only live it once, bro. That ass.
Whether you fix it through education, whether you fix it
I'm thinking
through
about so much random
reform,
shit I can
there's
do
a
right
lot
now.
of things you can do once you start making money, because you can start making impact. Especially hearing your guys' stories, it makes me feel bad. Because
I ain't gonna lie though, I do agree. I don't think wealthy people have a duty to fix homelessness. But if I was to be wealthy though, or when I get wealthy, I definitely will not give homeless niggas or people like that money. That's not what I would do. I'll genuinely build a connection with people and then see how their grind is if I take them out their environment and put them in a different environment and see if they deserve it. You know what I mean? If not, then you're going right back to where you are. I genuinely don't care. You get what I'm saying? But like, I dead will give people the chance and the opportunity, like they said, to work towards a better life. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna just hand it out because, like you said, I'm wealthy for a reason because I chose to do what I had to do while I was young to make this amount of money. So I do agree that if you're blessed and you're abundant in ways that other people aren't, you should at least try and show the grace and the gratitude to like extend the hand out to them. You don't have to be the richest in the world or, you know what I mean? Or like the smartest or the most intelligent. But if you have like a skill or a gift, you should be able to bring knowledge to not gatekeep. So yeah.
I feel like I could.
Hence why I got that investing thing in my Discord, you know? Because like, you know, I'm not the richest in the world, but I have made a significant amount of money from investing. So like, why would I not share it to y'all? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's free knowledge at this point. But it's up to y'all, which is a choice. Take what I say. You know what I mean? If you don't, I don't give a fuck. You get what I'm saying? Genuinely.
Do more. I can't, obviously. But I think the wealthier you get, the more responsibility you have for that stuff.
It's uploaded? Ah, shit. All right, hold on. I got like 9 minutes in this video.
I think every person has a duty to help their fellow human being.
Okay, but
And homelessness is an initiative that it's been near and dear to my heart for a long time. It's not just lip service. I mean, I've helped people fundraise through my company and built 150 homes for people that didn't have homes in Mexico. And I've been involved in charitable stuff for the last 25 years. It's one of the most gratifying things that I do. I think it's actually more of a selfish thing to do, to be honest with you, because it's like it feels amazing doing it. I feel like I'm actually fulfilling my calling. And I think anybody has a duty to help their fellow human. It's just part of being a decent person.
I feel really glad hearing y'all's perspectives on like individually feeling kind of like compassion to put yourself in others' shoes. And a lot of the times just everyday life is just so stressful when you're, you know, poor. It's like you can't think about the greater good for society. It's every day, it's just survival. I stepped forward because I was thinking kind of like in terms of taxing the rich a little bit. Taxes, you know, go to public services like libraries and roads, and I feel like those things are important more on a systemic level. And then you guys made a good point about like how you individually feel. That's not even something I had thought about with the prompt. So I was glad hearing like y'all's takes on that.
Me too. It was, and I think just this discussion is part of helping. You know what I mean? I do think the rich have a duty to help the unhoused.
The nigga right next to him,
There's just
that
this
nigga.
one thing. I always thought it was weird. I'm not saying that when I was unhoused, people were needed to give me money, but I would panhandle a lot. You know what I mean? And whenever I was in like really wealthy areas like Calabasas, I wouldn't get any money from anybody. But if I went to like a lower income neighborhood, like if I went to East LA, I'd get a lot of money. And it just made me like wonder like why the upper class is more hesitant to directly help the unhoused. And I'm thinking maybe because they don't want us like staying in their neighborhoods and stuff.
I think it's because they can't relate.
Yeah.
Because this is I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I thought about this beforehand. I actually got everyone freaking little things so you guys get a stay at a hotel for however long. So all of you guys got one. There's 250 bucks on this
Whoa.
for any hotel you want.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys are good. I love this prompt, so I don't know if I'm allowed to do this.
God.
If I'm breaking the rules, it's for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. But I think part of that is because people can't remember. Because I remember there was at some point my dad, there was an ugly little like divorce battle where he tried to sell the house and me and my mom were almost homeless. So it's like when I hear this stuff, it makes me sad. It sucks and I feel like really grateful to have money now. So I wanted to make sure that you guys.
I really appreciate
I can't do like it's not much, but also just on the top I have goosebumps. It's crazy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
I
that.
got you. Yeah, you guys, everybody deserves
And
it.
I would say, since you have that heart and that mind to do that, I would say get involved with organizations that are in Skid Row, that are right now fighting this battle. We don't have people to make sure that Gavin Newsom can hear our.
Man, this nigga said thank you, but back to business, nigga. That nigga said thank you, but back to the fucking business, nigga. The prompt I had. That nigga regret giving that nigga a gift card, bro. Thinking about taking that shit back. Look at his face.
Stories. We don't have people to make sure that care and bask hear our stories. Being millionaires, I'll be honest, y'all can get to these leaders quicker and better than we can. I've been down to City Hall and tried to talk to them. They quick to throw us out of there. Let you guys go down there, petition, talk to them, ask them. They'll probably listen to y'all way faster than they'll listen to us. That's just my perspective on it.
Yeah, I guess I just want to say from my personal experience, every successful like entrepreneur or person that's made a lot of money, they've always given back. They're actually some of the more giving people in my experience. I guess with the prompt, just the word duty as if they were obligated, it's like I don't think it should be written anywhere. But I think it's a natural philosophy that if you've ever struggled and understand what that's like, that when you make it, it's like how do you not feel good about helping someone else out because you've once been in their shoes? So. I mean, I agree with everything everyone was saying. I guess the word duty maybe threw me off.
I think if you make it a responsibility, you're gonna cheapen it. Like if y'all were responsible for giving me a hotel every night, he would have pulled that out. I'd be like, bro, gone with that. I don't know. You should have gave me twice as much, 3 times as much, because now you're obligated. I stood in a line for 2 hours almost to get this T-shirt because I was like, I need something to match these shoes, and I saw people in the line complaining. Somebody said, "Oh, they're not. They don't care about what they're doing." I'm like, bro, they're volunteering. If people are responsible for doing stuff for other people, then it's gonna turn more of like, why didn't you do that for me? Instead of why didn't I get off my ass and get it? We all also do have our own families, and I plan on being filthy rich. I mean, absurdly, disgustingly rich. And I don't want all of a sudden now now it's on me to take care of everybody else's, because I have a lot of children. I got to take care of my own thing.
I was gonna answer yours. I feel like a lot of times, like when rich people do even help, it's never enough. They get taxed more than anyone else. It's still not enough.
All right, 6 minutes left, guys. 6 minutes left.
Oh, like eat the rich, and like I still
back to
help,
chilling
help
and
church,
something
like
else.
rescue, and I still want to like foster like a couple kids when I'm older, but it's not gonna be enough. It's not gonna solve anything, And I'm still gonna be looked as like you're a white girl, like you have privilege, It just feels like not that I need the validation or anything, but sometimes it just feels like no matter how much you do, no matter how much you give, people are still gonna look down on you, and they're still gonna do like, oh, but you have this, oh, but you're whatever, you're a female, oh, but you're tall, but you're white. That's why you got those things. But a lot of times it's like you can't win,
Because you owe me.
Yeah.
You owe me.
It's always.
I think I meant like not as much a legal responsibility necessarily. I think it's just we kind of overlook the spiritual connectedness of all of us and that we have moral responsibilities for each other. So yeah, you maybe don't literally owe me anything. I think that we all owe each other like dignity and help and respect. And yeah.
If you give people free housing, they won't be motivated to change their lives.
I agree.
Well, I am literally looking at people who are going through these housing processes every day. I'm going through it myself, but I do believe it should be a temporary thing. It should always be a temporary thing because your parents should raise you, and if they don't raise you, you're not someone else's problem. And nothing should be free. And if there's this big utopia of free stuff, then it probably isn't in America.
Yeah, so when I say this, I'm just speaking for other countries, right? You look at I've traveled the world, you go to other countries, specifically like in Europe, a lot of them, they do this free housing thing. Really? And the people that are in this free housing, they don't work. There's just like a minimum thing where they're just there in this free housing, chilling. Which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think with the prompt saying, if you give someone free housing, they're not going to want to work. I think that's true.
I think it's completely counterintuitive because if it's free, you know?
Yeah. So
There
I
you
think
go.
anything that's given for free is usually taken for granted.
Right.
I think that's what it is. I know for me, like I had a very traditional.
Besides
You're
this,
gonna use that. No, I had a very traditional like Asian mom, and I grew up in LA, so like I'm not like she wanted me to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. If she just let me stay in her house, if she was like, you know what, you could just stay here and figure your life out, I probably wouldn't have become successful. But she was like, no, get the hell out. She kicked me out. Having that something to motivate you or push you, it'll get you to work a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to apply that statement to everyone. It's like you can't say that as a blanket statement because it's going to be like every individual is different. I'm very grateful I don't have a mortgage anymore, and it did kind of. I'm like, oh man, the motivation kind of does go down with it, but that doesn't speak for everybody.
I think like housing is a baseline to make better decisions. At least for me, I wasn't able to get sober until I was able to get into a cafeteria to get out of the rain, and I was able to think more clearly. And there's an issue right now, especially in Los Angeles. That's the city I can speak from. But the easiest way for me to get shelter was going to a gay bathhouse. And like that's like kind of a fucked up system if that's the easiest way for me to get shelter, because the shelters in LA, they were not letting me in because I had a drug abuse problem. And I think there needs to be a place for people, even if they're using drugs, and not saying, hey, you can't get shelter unless you stop, because some people physically can't stop. And it's hard to stop if you're just on the streets, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's extenuating circumstances. Like again, I've been involved in a lot of initiatives in mostly foreign countries, and like you said, like the poverty there is unbelievable, right? Like there's zero
It's like
choice.
Americans don't understand.
Yeah, it's not like for lack of trying that these people are homeless. Like not even close. This is like the last house that we built was for a mom and 2 kids, and she's doing everything that she can. So it's just getting people a baseline to be able to ground and have the safety, the security, like the dignity that comes with having a place to call home, so that they can launch, because they're not worried about, oh man, there was a heavy rain today. That means the hillside that I live on, which is made of dirt, is gonna like completely flood out my house. They have to worry about like the most very, very basic things that hold them back from actually focusing on starting a business, running the business, making money from the business, making it more profitable, getting the kids in school. So I think it's more of like a launch pad than something that would inhibit.
I agree with you. I think with me, my main point was if it's just permanent, I think that's where the issue comes, because then people will say, I'm gonna have this forever, I'm not gonna do this. I have no issues with people saying, hey, we're gonna give you free housing for 2 years.
The reason that people would say it's forever and they want to just keep it, again, it goes back to trauma. It's like someone being unhoused is very rare. It's, in my experience and in the massive amounts of data that I've looked at, has very little to do with someone being lazy or not trying.
I just remember being on the streets, like sometimes I would like make a sign and say like, could someone take me out to eat? And it's not necessarily because I was hungry, and I just wanted to like be inside and sit with somebody for a little bit. And I just really encourage anybody, if they see like someone unhoused, even if you don't want to give them money, just look at them in the eye and say hi. Like that goes a really big way. That's all.
And I just want to say to y'all that homelessness is a very lonely experience and a very traumatic experience. And I think that Jubilee Media deciding to bring out unhoused people to give our perspective is a big move and a big look, and I definitely appreciate it. And for y'all sitting down with us and having this conversation, I think this is a big look for all of us, so we appreciate y'all for real.
Yeah, definitely. It's easy to feel very like unseen, so just having this opportunity, like I really looked forward to coming on here and being able to.
All right, happy feet. Nigga, we done with this shit, bro. Cool video, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. There's a lot of takes I was on. Said, some I agree with, some I genuinely did not agree with. But at the end of the day, that's just life. That's just life. You get what I'm saying?